Good evening. I hope your daughter is settled back into Wirral Grammar School for Girls and is enjoying being back in school after the lockdown. I was very pleased with your daughter's engagement in learning and thank you for all your support and encouragement during the lockdown period. I'm sure we'd also like I hope your daughter is settled back into Wirral Grammar School for Girls and is enjoying being back in school after the lockdown. I was very pleased with your daughter's engagement in learning and thank you for all your support and encouragement during the lockdown period. I'm sure we'd also like to join me in thanking all the staff for all their hard work and support in delivering the curriculum over this period. We are very lucky to have such outstanding teachers here who always go the extra mile for the girls. The curriculum evening is to give you information on the curriculum your daughter will follow this year, how we will track her progress, the intervention support work which will go on. We'll also talk about extracurricular opportunities and pastoral care. Your daughter has come into school over the last week full of enthusiasm and the right attitude to learning. You have prepared her well and the transition back into school has gone extremely smoothly. I would also like to thank her form teacher, her head of year, and Mrs. DeBorder, head of Key Stage 3, for the Google Classroom work, supporting your daughter both socially, emotionally and educationally through the lockdown period. Mr. Loveland, our Deputy Head Teacher in charge of teaching and learning tonight, will talk about how the year will go. He'll talk about the opportunities for learning, how we'll monitor your daughter's progress, and how we can ask you to work alongside us to help with that work. Mrs. DeBorder will talk about the pastoral care support system and suggest perhaps things that you can do to make your daughter's life, our life, as smooth as possible. I fully support everything that you've done over this period and I thank you once again for continuing to work with us as a school to make this a very successful year in what is quite difficult circumstances. We appreciated all the emails and letters of support that we received over lockdown. It really lifted the spirits of the staff over a period which could have been very different. I have no doubt that your daughter will catch up any work she didn't understand. We will work with her to make sure that she feels confident to move forward. I am in absolutely no doubt that things will be fine.
Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you ever so much for joining us for the Year 8 curriculum evening here in 2021. And it seems like we've been through a long time of different things that have affected your daughter's education. And much of this evening is just trying to pull things together for you and see how things actually operate. Forgive me, I'm just going to share my screen with you so that you can see something of what it is that we're talking about. And if you look at the screen that's in front of you now, you can see your daughter's curriculum. Now, if you look through what you're looking at there, you can see that essentially it's pretty much going to look the same as it has done in previous years. And when you actually come down to look at how the subjects break down, like English and maths, then obviously they're quite demanding things. And you can see then that for those two subjects, they get that extra time to help support them for what are the core subjects after all. So that's as it was in year 7. A little bit less maths time as things have moved through, but nevertheless, as we've going through year 8 and we're pushing forward through your daughter's school career, we really put English and maths at the heart of things. Now, look at the other things that you can see on the screen there. So you can see, for example, that you've still got, I know it says Spanish and German, but 2 lessons for the first foreign language, 1 for the second. Still got 1 lesson for each of the sciences. Still got 2 lessons for tech. Remember that split across different subjects. So you've got resistant materials, design technology, you've got food, you've got textiles. So there's a bit of a carousel thing going on there. Now, the thing you'll notice that's different is in that humanities, that slightly green column, where you'll notice an extra geography lesson has crept in. It's not because we think they need a lot more geography in year 8, but it's because we do now set aside time to support your daughter in what we call citizenship. We stress, I don't know if you remember this from last year, but we stress the importance of a broad curriculum, as much breadth of experience as we can in these first 3 years, these vital first 3 years of secondary school. And geography gets an extra lesson so they can deliver that citizenship element, because we believe that's really important. As you look across that screen, you can see nothing else that looks different to how it looked for year 7. Let's talk, if we could, a little bit about the targets that your daughter will have, because targets are always quite confusing things, I think. And essentially, they're a tool to help us and to help you and to help her see whether she's at the right place on the journey. We've always fought as a school very hard against the idea of just giving students GCSE targets when they come in and saying, there you go. We've always tended to shift and adjust. But there's no lie and there's no surprise that, of course, that's been a challenge for us. Although your daughter did exams at the end of year 7 and had that important experience, and although we have got more information, we're still quite feeling our way with how she's doing and what she needs to work on and how she needs to develop her skills and her strategies. So you can see on there, she's going to have targets in her subjects that range from what are called 5A down to 3A, a slightly broader stretch. You can probably do a quick count and see there's 4 green chunks in year 7 and 5 green chunks in year 8, and that goes up to 6 green chunks in year 9. Don't read anything into that. The bigger spread is to reflect that, obviously, hopefully girls will be pushing more towards that higher end achievement as they get opportunities to stretch and develop themselves. But certainly if your daughter hasn't got a 5A target, there's nothing to stress over. It's our ability to help shape and develop her as she moves forward that's so important as she goes through. And of course, one of the things that helps her to do that are what we call the skills. And this is a big thing for us this year. We really have had some question marks in our mind about how lockdown and COVID has affected skills abilities. And if you look at them, participation, engagement in lessons, homework and independent work outside of lessons, resilience, these are big skills which we really feel it's important to develop. And as a teaching community, we will be doing that. There are class charts buttons, for example, this year, which will allow teachers to indicate where she's participated in learning or where she's shown some resilience. Because school has to be something much more than just about learning stuff. It has to be developing important life skills which help her to move forward as she moves towards adult life. And I'll just take this as an opportunity to just plug the Class Charts parent app to put on your phone so you can see and you yourselves can track. You should all have got details sent to you of that. If for any reason you haven't, please contact us straight away. I'll put my email address up in a bit so you can see it. But please get in touch with us so you can see how that works. Just want to say a couple of brief words before I finish about data. It's always a big thing for me. Your daughter is vulnerable in an online world where she can be at risk. And as we talk about internet safety and we talk about GDPR, data protection, that affects her very much indeed. And I'm going to remind you, I did have these on the year 7 evening, but I'm going to say them again. I make no apology for that, of 2 really vital websites. There's others, I don't have any particular buy-in on these ones. One is the NSPCC one, which is a really good, full of good advice for you as parents on how to keep your child safe online. And the other one is the CEOPS, the Child Exploitation Online Protection site, which is so important. It's the central crime site where you can report online abuse, report online anxieties, and get people to officially investigate. Ladies and gentlemen, I've spoken far too long already. I think it's time for me to hand over to my dear friend and colleague, Mrs. de Border. I've put my email address there on the screen so you can see there. If you need to get in touch with me about any of the things I've talked about, I'm more than happy to hear from you. Otherwise, I wish you well for year 8. Don't hesitate to get in touch. Here's Mrs. de Border.
Form time is a vital part of the day at Wirral Girls. During form time, your pupil will talk to their form tutor, interact with other members of their form, and hopefully have a good start to the day. We will continue to use pupil planners this year and hopefully be able to use them more effectively now there are less restrictions in place. We would ask that you check your daughter's planner on a weekly basis and sign to say that you agree they have completed their homework to the best of their ability. Please check that they are filling it in with enough detail and that they are using the column with the due date and perhaps ticking it off when it's done. All these organisational skills, if developed properly now, will help them very much when they get to GCSE. Your daughter's form tutor will also check that planner on a weekly basis. And so if you would like to communicate anything through the comments box, please feel free to do so and we will get back to you as soon as possible. Reading is really important, and at Wirral Girls, we like to encourage pupils to read for enjoyment. We will promote this through form time and we'll have book boxes available for your daughter to choose different types of books to read during form time. They may also wish to bring a book in from home, but we would ask that you also encourage this love of reading while they are at home and while they're in school. During form time, we promote charity events. We like pupils to work within the community, raising money and working within the school, planning these charity events. So please talk to your daughter about anything that might be upcoming or anything that they might get involved in. We will do form checks weekly. We will check uniform, we will check homework, and all of this will be recorded through our Class Charts app. Last year, we encouraged parents to make sure they downloaded this app so they could monitor their daughter's progress, and it really helps with that school-home communication. So if you don't have the Class Charts app yet, please contact our school office and we will send details out. The Wirral Girls Challenge is something that we would very much like your daughter to get involved in. Details of this are in the planner. This is an award that can be given for work that they might do outside of school in recognition of what they've contributed to their community. And then finally, form assemblies. We promote form assemblies. This is an opportunity for pupils to develop their oracy skills, to have the confidence to speak in front of their peers, and to also plan effectively to a time scale and to come up with interesting ideas that are going to inspire other pupils. We will continue to promote our extracurricular activities, and this year we are very much delighted to not be restricted by bubbles, and so we can offer more activities on a regular basis. Last year, they were often every other week, but this year the activities will run every week, and we hope that through that we will have better attendance. We like to encourage Year 8 to join at least 2 clubs a week, if not more, which would be fantastic. We also encourage your daughter to look out for the house events. Upcoming events, we've got our House Shout, where they have to learn a song and perhaps a dance routine. We've got the Halloween disco coming up for years 7 and 8, and we've also got a Christmas card competition. So once again, getting involved in all of these activities will help your daughter feel part of the wider school community. The support we have in place, a reminder of the structure. So obviously the first point of call would be the form tutor, and I've mentioned that you can communicate through the planner, or you can send an email to the school office that would be passed to the form tutor. After that, if there is more of a concern, that would be passed to the head of year, and that's Miss Shields this year. We're welcoming her back from maternity leave. She's a very experienced member of staff and is a great support to our pupils. Myself, Mrs. de Border, the assistant head teacher, I oversee the pastoral care for years 7, 8 and 9. So I will work very, very closely with Miss Shields and your daughter's form tutor to ensure that her life at school is as happy as it possibly can be. In addition to this, we have external workers who work with us. So we've got our school nurse and we have our health services and school youth worker. We also have learning mentors that we can assign to work alongside your daughter if needed. We will also be promoting the use of study buddies this year, where we have older pupils in the school that can help your daughter with organisational skills or homework. And we also have our study hall, which will take place after school on a Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday evening, and that will run until 4:45, where they can work independently in the library, and it will be supervised by prefects and a member of the senior leadership team. Finally, some key dates that you may find helpful to make a note of. Your daughter will receive their full written report on the 10th of December. This will give you details of how your daughter is performing in each of her subject areas. On the 4th of March, they will receive a progress card, which will refer to the skills and levels that Mr. Loveland has talked about in his part of this presentation. The 28th of April is our Year 8 Parents' Evening. Further details of that will be sent nearer the time. Directly after the May half-term holiday, we have our end-of-year exam week. So last year, your daughter would have experienced this for the first time. This year, it's from the 6th to the 10th of June. Again, we ask for your support in helping your daughter plan for a quiet space to prepare for these exams. We will again do work in school, helping them plan revision timetables, make effective revision notes, and all those kind of study skills that they will need to prepare for this exam week. Finally, on the 19th of July, you will receive your daughter's end of year report.